Hello, welcome to Talk of the Town. I am your host, Abby on the Avenue, Marketing Director for Appleton Downtown Incorporated. Talk of the Town is a podcast where we shine a spotlight on the people, places, and passion in our community. Each episode, we engage in meaningful conversations with community ambassadors and local business owners as they share their stories about what makes our district thrive. Whether you're a history buff, foodie, music lover, or something in between, there's something here for everyone. Join us as we uncover the stories of what makes downtown Appleton one great place. I'm excited to announce this week's guest. She is someone that is with an organization that is very close to opening their brand new building to the public that I know a lot of us are very excited to see and hear more about. Please help me welcome Ashley Acker, Marketing Manager with the Trout Museum of Art. Welcome, Ashley.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on. I know when we were chatting about having you on the episode, I'm like, there is just so much content of things we could talk about all the great things coming to the new museum. And I know you guys have been really diving deep into a lot of that. And I'm sure that's consumed your entire world for at least the last year. I mean, totally crazy, but it's coming up and I'm so excited. It is so close. Everybody's very eager to see it. I know some people have been in there for different events and things like that, but the opening to the public is coming very soon.
It is. Yeah, we've had a few events, kind of a sneak peek, but our official first day is October 11th.
So we're very excited to see that. But before we really dive into talking about the museum, let's talk a little bit about you and, your background. Are you from the area and how you got involved with working at the Trout?
Yeah, so I am actually originally from the Appleton area. I grew up in New London. So I have a deep connection to the Fox cities in general and everything that's happening here. I went to school in Milwaukee at Alverno College where I studied business and studio art. So I've always had an interest in art, which kind of led me to looking for art-related organizations. Because I always knew I didn't really want to be an artist and spend my full time doing that. But I wanted to kind of be on the business end of an arts organization. So the Trout Museum of Art was like a perfect match for me. I also did some time at the Walker's Point Center for the Arts in Milwaukee, which is a similar organization on a smaller scale, and I had a great time there. So I did some marketing for them. So this was the perfect opportunity, and I got to stay in the Fox Cities, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, always the interest of art and passion for art has always been there, but it's cool that you kind of wanted to go on the other side of it. And you obviously get a lot of opportunities to work with artists and so many amazing ones right in our community. So it was definitely a great fit. How long have you been there?
This is about 6 years this September. So
6 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. Time really flies when
it
people
really
ask
does.
me that. Like I'm coming up on 4 years with ADI as well. And I just can't believe how long it's been.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. But you know what they say? Time flies when you're having fun, right? Yeah. So obviously a lot of new things are coming to the Trout Museum. So let's first talk about the history of the museum and just the mission behind your organization.
Yeah, so the Trout Museum of Art has been around in one form or another since the 1960s. So we actually originally started in about 1960 as the Appleton Gallery of Art. So it was just a few local artists who saw an opening in our area for the need for some art community engagement, a way for artists to show their art, to display their art, to sell their art. So a few local artists just started this organization, kind of a guild, and it kind of grew from there.
Yeah.
And so we've had a few different names, a few different locations over the years. Some people might know us as the Appleton Art Center. Before in 2010, Dr. Monroe and Sandra Trout gifted their art collection and an endowment to us, and we switched our name to the Trout Museum of Art. So contrary to what some people believe, we're not a fish museum. But
I have heard that, yes.
I have too. But we're really excited to be growing with our community, and this is just a next step.
Yeah, absolutely. So your previous location that I think a lot of people are very aware of was right in the heart of downtown Appleton, right by, Houdini Plaza. But so things were happening and you needed to make some changes. And, that's kind of how you announced in August of 2023 that you were going to, build this brand new space.
Yeah. So as I said, we've been around for 60 plus years. And in that time, we've continued to grow out of some of our locations. The great thing about Appleton is it really loves its arts and its music. And so programming wise, we just saw this need for growth continuing.
Yep.
So we started looking for a new location in 2023. We loved our old location. It was a beautiful historic building in downtown Appleton, but it was originally built as a furniture store in the 1920s. So it wasn't really built or for to sustain art programming,
Right.
for like art for exhibitions, needs community control. Our classes are way up on the 5th floor. So we were like, if we can build a purpose-built building that is built as an art museum, it will help not only us and our programming, but the community to be able to engage with art even more.
Yeah, that's a really good way to think about that. You know, a lot of people were probably wondering, like, you know, why the switch, and not only just like the outgrowth of space, because like you said, I'm sure there's no shortage of amazing art and programming you guys could have,
right,
no matter how big your space is. But like you said, that building was not built for art, and you have to think about keeping that art safe and clean and, you know, sustainable and all those different things. And that's something that I never really thought of. So I can't remember when it was first like mentioned to me of like, you know, temperature control and all these different things. And I'm like, you know, that makes perfect sense, but not something I think a lot of people outside of the art community would think about. Yeah.
And it's really important, especially that temperature controlled and humidity controlled environment. It also, when we have those type of secure back end things that happen in a museum, then we can get traveling shows and we can get larger exhibitions that we wouldn't be able to host in our old museum.
Right. And, you know, the location itself was great, but just the transportation and all those different things. So just some challenges that you guys faced, and you saw the opportunity to, you know, open this new museum. And the thing that is really neat about it is the partnership with Lawrence University to make this 4-story mixed use space, and that collaboration that you guys are able to expand on with them now with this space.
Right. Yes. So when we started looking for a location, Lori Carter actually called up our director and was like, "Hey, I heard you're looking for a location. We're kind of looking to grow a little bit too."
Yeah.
And Lawrence is obviously an amazing university to partner with, and we have similar missions in that they really support education and culture engagement and arts engagement. So it was perfect fit with the art museum.
Yeah. And, you know, obviously a very arts focused university as well, and a lot of really talented students that are there. And another fortunate place that we're able to have right here in downtown Appleton is Lawrence University and the thousands of students they have there as well. So now this new location that you're having is further down on the east end, right by the corner of Lawrence University, which is a great spot for that, you know, fostering that collaboration. And the building, it has been so much fun for me driving to work every day, watching it transform and just watching it come from nothing. I always find that fascinating, no matter what building it is, whether it's something you're redoing or building from scratch. And, you know, some of it had to be taken down from what it was, and, you know, all these different things. And it has been super cool to just watch it come to life.
Yeah, it was exciting for us too. For sure.
I mean, and you guys being on the, you know, the ends of the conversations of seeing the blueprints and the drawings and, you know, all the different things, and to finally see it and to be able to be in there and soon open it up to the public is, you know, really amazing. So talk about some of the changes that you guys are making in the new building versus the old one, and how that experience will be better for both the artists and the community.
Yeah, well, the biggest change is that we used to be on 4 floors. So a lot of people didn't even know we had education classrooms because they were way up on the 5th floor. But we host over 200 classes every year.
Yeah.
So the biggest change is that we're all on 1 floor. So the entire first floor of that building that's going up on College Ave is the Trout Museum of Art. And then the upper 3 floors belong to Lawrence.
Okay.
And we're separate organizations. I like to compare it kind of to a condo. So we own our side, they own their side, but we can collaborate. We can talk to each other. We can do some programming together.
That's a great way to put that.
Yeah. So, but they'll have some offices, some classes happening up there, a lot of music studio rooms. We've gotten a few tours of the space, and the soundproofing on those is insane. So it's really exciting to see. They also have like a podcast place to do some podcasts. So it's really cool.
Nice. Other people join the podcast community. Super fun.
I know. Yeah. It's great for their students to be able to learn about kind of this different type of thing that they can do.
Different media. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and there'll also be some market rate apartments up there as well. So, but back to the Trout Museum of Art. So a big change is that we have 3 gallery wings. People have been asking a lot about that. So before, we had to close down the museum when we were switching out installations and exhibits.
Right, because you just had kind of one main gallery space in the old location.
Yeah, and we would switch them out all at once, or we would have just one exhibit up entirely and had to switch that out. So we would close every few months. And the really exciting thing about this new building is that we won't have to be closed anymore for installation, because we have these separate gallery wings. So we can close one down or half of one and still keep the museum open to our community. Some other things the museum has is going to be an artist residence studio, some education classrooms, an outdoor classroom we're really excited about.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, so that one was really cool. It's right off the education classrooms. And so we can do some different things media-wise, like some things that might be a little more messy, just take a summer camp outside just to kind of experience, draw some stuff. So it'll be really exciting. Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. So, okay. So the Trout's taking up that whole first floor. And I saw that there were kind of some spaces for people to go in there and, create and things like that. Just talk a little bit about those.
Yeah. So one thing that we really value is making art accessible for the average person. So one thing we hear a lot is that art can be kind of intimidating. Museums especially can be kind of intimidating if people think that, I don't know enough to go in there.
Yes.
So one thing we really want to do is kind of bring art down a level and really simplify it. So throughout the museum, there's a few different art making stations that'll be rotating. We have 2 think points and another one actually that'll be a little bit more digital. So kind of experience some different type of arts. There's just things that you can participate in when you're here. We also have a lot of community spaces that people can come in and just, like our new drinkery cafe, get a coffee and just be surrounded by art, just to bring it down to that basic level.
Yes. Yeah. And I was just about to ask about that is, you're adding some new things as well. You had the museum store at the last location and, you were recently kind of, growing that, bringing in some new things, but now with the new location, you were able to expand on that even further.
Yes. So the museum store is even bigger than ever. We're so excited about that.
Yeah.
And our gallery coordinator, Beth Scheffner, has been a big part of redoing the entire, what is the goal of the store?
Yes.
And so people have noticed over the last couple of years that the kind of the image of the store has been really curated, really bold products, things that you can't find in Appleton. So we're definitely going to be continuing that. We also have a lot of handmade items by artists too. Jewelry is a big thing for us too. So a lot of handcrafted jewelry that is absolutely beautiful.
I'm sure you're going to be shopping there all the time. I'd be looking at that.
Yeah, I already do.
See, it's kind of dangerous, but it's a great thing to have. And Beth does an amazing job. Fun fact, everybody, I actually went to school with Beth. Yeah. She's amazing. She is so, so talented. And it's an amazing, asset to have for the team, but it's really cool. Like you said, it's very unique gifts, very unique shopping and it's not necessarily just for, an art lover in your life. There are a lot of other gifts for anybody that you can find in there to give somebody or give to yourself. I mean, no hate to that as well, but just a lot of opportunities in there of very unique things that you can find when you're in the museum. And you mentioned the drinkery, which is something brand new that was not in the old museum.
Right. Yeah. So the drinkery is going to be, it sounds like what it is. It's kind of a bar cafe hybrid.
Okay.
So it's kind of just an extension of what people can enjoy at the museum. So we're not going to be open like the regular hours, like 7 a.m. that a typical cafe downtown would be open, but it's kind of supplemental of the people visiting the museum.
Sure.
So we'll have their coffee, espresso. We're excited to be partnering with JBC Coffee Roasters out of Madison. So new roaster to Appleton.
Very cool.
We got to sample them. It's so good.
Oh, speaking of dangerous, I was just going to mention that, Ashley. You're going to have a cafe right in your building.
I know. It's super dangerous because I've been frequenting the downtown coffee shop.
Oh my gosh. They're all amazing. But to have one right there is awesome as well. And I think something that, when I first heard about the drinkery, something that I always think of, like when I'm in a museum or something, like I was just at Bergster Mahler not that long ago. And I always get nervous to bring a drink with me. Like I'm around so much amazing art and exhibits and things, and I get scared.
Yep, that makes sense because it is a dangerous thing to have around art. So that's nice that we have this. I think you've visited the museum. We have a big gathering area where the drinkery is, so you can have your drinks in there. If you're going to go see the art, we ask that you put it away. But right. Hopefully you spend some time in the drinkery and have a chance to visit with friends and finish up your drink before going to the galleries.
Yes, absolutely. Just a cool thing to point out. But yeah, so those are some new things that you're bringing to the space to kind of enhance, the experience that the community can have. But, you mentioned those 3 gallery wings full of art that are coming this fall. But these are exhibits, like you said, that rotate throughout the year, giving people a chance to really explore and see something new throughout the year. Talk about why that's important for people and, how that process works of kind of changing things out. And now that you have the opportunity to have multiple things, how those kind of are going to work together.
Yeah, so we have 3 gallery wings, which really, like I said earlier, allows us to switch out art a little more routinely. So there's always something new to see at the museum. And that was really important to us because people in our community would have to travel to Milwaukee or Chicago to see an art museum or experience art on this scale. So the fact that on the larger scale, because of course we have a lot of museums in the area. We have a big arts community with the Bergstrom Mahler and going to Green Bay. And so there's a lot of museums in our area. But being able to really stay open and support our community in this way is really important to us. And we're able to bring in, because of this new building and how we built our walls really tall, so we can kind of curate our exhibits and bring in these bigger traveling exhibitions or bigger artworks. We have one artist who will be in the museum who works on a bigger scale, and we would not have been able to show his art in the old building, which is really cool that we got to get to bring him in and other artists like him going into the future as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, talking about some of the, the barriers that you were facing in the old museum of, some of the exhibits that you maybe couldn't have or whatever, but now it feels almost limitless. And I love that you guys, while you have that, opportunity now to bring in some of these large scale exhibits from, throughout the world, you guys have a very strong focus on promoting local artists as well.
Yes. So we try to do both, of course. So we have a lot of local to Wisconsin artists that will be in the next year.
Yep.
We're really excited, even local and Wisconsin. So that's really exciting to see, like, what are the creators in Wisconsin creating today? Because that's also really important to see it really, and also how has it changed?
Yeah.
In our last show in our old building, it was really exciting to see. It was a retrospective of the last 40 years of Wisconsin art. Ooh. So you got to see kind of how art has evolved, what people are creating in our area. It went from a lot of landscape paintings to really some more contemporary artworks that artists are creating today. So we're excited to show everybody what people are doing.
Yeah. And something that you're doing to really highlight that is this artist in residence space and the opportunity that can give local artists.
Yes. So we actually just selected our first artist in residence in our new building, Dane Schumacher. He's from Appleton, actually lives in Appleton. He's from Green Bay. So this is a dedicated studio space in the new building. You can see it if you're walking on College Ave. You can look into a studio right now, actually, which is really exciting. So you can see what he's up to.
I'm just going to be watching him.
Yeah.
Look out, Dane.
We all will be.
We'll
be like, what are you doing today?
Okay.
Yeah. So he'll be in the studio through the end of the year, and then we'll have about 3 to 4 artists a year that rotate, and it's an application process. Yeah. And this is really an opportunity for them to focus on their craft. How can they spend dedicated time to really spend time on their craft, explore new ideas, explore new mediums, but with the support of the museum, they get a stipend every month for supplies, and they can have access to professionals in the field to kind of expand and see where they can go next.
That's super cool. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people in the community, artists that are out just doing things at their house, that maybe don't have a full-on dedicated studio space somewhere. And you're breaking down that barrier for them to really be able to, succeed in that, give them a space, and, monetarily you're supporting them to give them some opportunities as well. So if people are interested in that, like in the future, how does that process work?
Yeah, so we have applications are always open on our website. Okay. So it's on a rolling basis. So if you apply now, it'll just be applied to the next round that we're looking at. And if you don't get it the first time, we'll keep your application in the loop for a while. Good.
Okay. So only have to apply once.
You only have to apply once. It's on our website. If you go on the website, we have a tab called For Artists, and it has all the opportunities happening at the museum.
Yeah. And there are more, as you just said that. I was just going to say, and there's more opportunities for artists to engage. Maybe if you're not looking for a space, there's other ways to kind of have your art in the museum as well.
Yes. So every year we do an annual jewelry show. So that one will be coming up. We'll be opening up applications for that this December. Ooh, okay. So any Wisconsin artist, and we're actually opening it up to a few Midwest states too, can apply to be part of that show. Okay. We also have a new opportunity called our Designer of the Year program, which I'm in particular really excited about. Oh, okay. So we also have, that's a new opportunity. We really wanted to, like the Artist in Residence program targets any artist. But an area of artists that aren't typically seen in museums is the illustrators, the designers, the graphic designers that don't always have a place in museums. So this program we opened up applications a bit ago, and it'll be an annual program for these people to apply, and they can create a custom mural for a museum store. So if you're walking on College Ave, you might have seen, if you look in the windows of the museum store, a giant mural that appeared. Yes. It's a 20-foot mural. And she also, it's Elisa Nikishin. She's she goes between Florida and Oregon. And she was actually here in Appleton visiting Lauren's friend, and she found out about the competition, and she applied, and she actually ended up winning.
No way.
Yeah.
See, what a small world.
Some Lawrence roots even in Oregon and Florida.
In Florida, yeah.
Yeah. So, but the really exciting thing is she's also designing a custom suite of merchandise for the museum store. So there will be some really cool stuff coming into the museum store, and definitely that mural too is really beautiful.
That's cool. So is that something that's going to be changing?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
So every year. So the mural will be up for 1 year through the end of about fall of 2026. This one will come down. And so we'll open up applications early this winter for the next artist.
That's awesome. And you give so many opportunities for artists to showcase their talents. And I like how you touched on the different mediums and things of people. And like you said, some that maybe you don't always see in museums and just different forms of art that people can enjoy. And I think, to touch on that, there's something for everybody that you can find at the museum. And I know you mentioned this a little bit earlier about how, some people might feel a little bit intimidated at museums and like, oh, I don't know a lot about that particular topic. Sometimes I feel about that with like history museums and things like my husband's a big history buff. And I'm like, I don't really know a lot about history. I feel like I'm going to be out of place. But all the museums downtown, especially are very welcoming to anybody of any, prior knowledge when you're coming in to come look at or learn about amazing things.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, we really want to bring art down to like the average citizen's level. So even when we think about when we're doing exhibitions and we're crafting, like how are we going to describe this exhibition to people? We really think about it from like, can a fifth grader understand what this description of this exhibit is? And we don't use complicated words. We don't use these art terms that even maybe I wouldn't even understand.
Right.
But we really try to bring it down to the level that the average citizen can really engross with the art and really feel like they're welcome there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, meant in a positive way we just want anybody to be able to understand this because it is a very advanced skill that a lot of people have, but they want to be able to share that to anybody and they don't want any barriers there of lack of understanding or anything. So it's good that acceptance and things are there for people to understand what's going on. But beyond this beautiful new building, and something I'm sure you're excited to talk about is you just unfolded a brand new brand as well to go along with this. And of course, you were kind of the spearhead of this. So talk about, the vision that you had behind the new logo that you created, which I personally love.
Thank you.
Had a sneak peek of it a while ago and I loved it. And I was very much waiting for the public to be able to see. And it looks amazing on the building too, by the way. I haven't had a chance to tell you that, but
thank you.
And just seeing it in so many different spaces. But yeah, talk a little bit about the inspiration behind that.
Yeah. So when about a year ago, we were like, well, we're building a new building and this is the perfect opportunity to really think about, is our brand identifying with who we are going to be?
Yes.
So we took a look at our logo, and I think a lot of what our brand is, our colors, our fonts, or whatever, we were like, this is working really great. Our logo, on the other hand, was just a little dated. It wasn't actually that old, but it worked for us. It was a really great logo for where we were before, but going into the future, we're like, let's design something a little more modern, a little bit more bold, a little bit more something that can work with us a little bit better. So you'll see we have more of a logo suite versus one static logo.
Yep.
So we have a couple different versions, and also one version that I'm really excited about is our art integration logo. So we'll be using this in some marketing that you might have noticed already if you're following us on Instagram.
Yes.
That where we actually incorporate art into this new logo shape that we have. So instead of plopping our logo on top of somebody's piece of art, we can incorporate their art into our own identity and kind of really promote what we have happening in different areas in that way.
I love that. And it's funny that you say that, like just popping your logo on something. Sometimes I even feel like I do that, and not necessarily with beautiful works of art, of course, but when I'm just making things, I'm like, oh, I should probably stick our brand in here somewhere. But you really found a way to just, incorporate that with the art versus, having them compete or,
So. Or a lot of art, like I don't want to ruin, or like the logo just doesn't work on top of the piece of art all the time. And I'm sure you come across that with a photography a lot of the time too, when you're trying to market for something.
Yes.
And this was a way that we could kind of use art and artists and really show that you are a part of our identity.
Yes.
And you are what makes us who we are. So we really want you to be part of our brand and who we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you did an amazing job with that. And, people, I think if you're not in the marketing world, when you see people changing their logos and things, and, there's a lot of things to think about. Like you mentioned, both the evolution of design. I mean, like you mentioned, you got to modernize it. So you got to look at, is our logo fitting with, our competitors, or just overall the look and feel? Is it feeling like the things of today, but also the evolution of your brand, of your organization, your business? So those are important things to look at that I think not a lot of people think about. And they just think, oh yeah, did you just change your logo for fun? And believe us, from a marketing perspective, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and it's tempting to do more often, but it's like you should not.
We should definitely not. Yeah. So believe us that it's not something we just do for funsies. It has a purpose behind it. And I think you guys did a really great job with that. And along with the new logo, you have a brand new website as well.
We do, yes. Coalesce Marketing helped us with that. So
woohoo! Shout out to them.
I know they did your website too. It's looking great.
Yes.
So yeah, we have it launched in August. So it has the new logo on there. It has the art integration logo. If you hover over different areas to kind of surprise you.
Ooh.
So if you haven't discovered that yet,
that is good to know. I have not.
Yeah. So, but it also, our website has all of the exhibitions that'll be in the museum, all our classes. We have so many classes that you can sign up for right now.
Yes.
So we're really excited to see that launched too.
Yeah. So definitely go look at that throughout the year, whenever you're listening to this episode, to find out what's currently happening, at the Trout once their brand new building is open and all those things. And something else that you work on that's a little bit newer as well, I feel like, is the magazine.
Yes.
So how often does that come out, and what, elements are featured in there?
Yeah. So right now we're doing the magazine twice a year.
Okay.
We might be increasing that a little bit depending on, because we have a lot, like I said, we're switching out exhibitions a little more. So get people a little bit more details on what's happening at the museum.
Yes.
But right now we've been doing it twice a year, and it has been so fun to work on.
Yeah.
It's such a creative thing to do, and it really shows people. We used to do just postcards, and I'm like, how can I fit everything we're doing on this postcard? It's impossible.
That is impossible.
So now I have 28 pages to do it. So that's really exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really a peek into what's happening at the museum, some different things that people can get involved in. We actually have one that should be hitting addresses pretty soon.
Ooh.
So we're really excited to see what's happening next at the museum.
Awesome. So if somebody wants to get their hands on that, how would they go about that?
So our magazine goes out to anybody who participates in the museum, whether you're a member, whether you took a class, whether you made a donation. So any way you make a contribution in any way, whether it's a membership class, whatever, we'll send you the magazine.
That's perfect. And you just led me in right next to my next topic that I was going to talk about, because after all these amazing things, I'm sure people are wondering, well, of course, now I want to come. So let's talk a little bit about, admission versus membership, how that works and some of the perks that go along with some of that.
Yes. Well, in 2026, in 2025, we're excited to announce that the Bolt Company has sponsored free admission for a year. So anybody in our community, anybody in Wisconsin, anybody who's visiting Wisconsin can come and see our exhibits for free through the end of 2026. So we're super excited to launch that. Isn't that awesome?
Wow.
Yeah. So people can come back as many times as you want. You can.
Yeah. There's no limit.
There's no limit. Yeah. So, and like I said, we'll be switching out exhibitions. So there's something to see throughout the next year too. So
yes. But
membership is actually a way for people to support the museum and the programs that we put out to the community and the artists that we support. So membership starts at $35 for the year. It's up to the $35 level is for 2 people and unlimited children. Okay. And you get to come to special events. We have a lot of talks and panels that you can come get free access to, discounts in the new drinkery, discounts in the store on classes. So there's lots of perks involved in that. And it really is a donation to the museum.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, it's to help sustain those programs that you guys have going on. And if you're going to visit, even aside from the amazing free admission, but later on, it's a great way to, just do that. And then, you're supporting both the museum. And if you're going to be coming frequently anyway, then you might as well access that membership. So definitely check that out, everybody, and help sustain this, beautiful new museum and the programs that they are going to be having coming up. So all right, as we're kind of wrapping up this episode here, I know we talked a lot about, the amazing things at the Trout, but what is one thing that you would want people to remember after listening to this episode?
Well, I just want people to remember that art is a part of everybody's lives, and it's part of our community, and we're excited to see that grow, and we're excited to see the different type of art and artists that we bring for people to experience, and I hope people enjoy it.
Yes, it's going to be amazing. I know people are going to love it. So last question here. In your opinion, what do you think makes downtown Appleton one great place?
Well, for me, it's the support that downtown Appleton has for the music and the arts industry. Even just what you guys do. You have so many arts events and Creative Downtown Inc. and everything that really supports these programs. We have a huge music industry with Hyde Music, Mile of Music, the PAC. We're excited to see the visual arts grow. The murals, all this stuff that you can see and do downtown Appleton is so amazing. And I will say that we used to be, like you said, in the heart of downtown Appleton in Houdini Plaza. And we're like, well, is it going to be as lively? Is it going to be as fun when we move down towards Lawrence? And we're like, just observationally, there's so many people, there's so many stuff, so much happening. The art still continues. So like downtown Appleton is just such a unique place. And we're excited to still be here and to kind of grow along with downtown Appleton still.
Yes, we're so excited that you're still here, and we're very excited for you guys in the new museum. So congrats from all of us.
Thank you.
It's truly going to be amazing, and everybody definitely needs to come out. So thank you, Ashley, for coming on the show today to talk about the amazing things that are coming to the Trout Museum's brand new space. Their grand opening is on Saturday, October 11th here in 2025. You can visit them at 325 East College Avenue. Like Ashley mentioned, free admission through 2026, courtesy of the Bolt Company. Make sure to follow the Trout Museum on Facebook and Instagram, and check out their brand new website, troutmuseumart.org, for information about what exhibits they currently have available. Thank you so much for tuning in to Talk of the Town. We'll be back with more stories, more voices, and more reasons to love downtown Appleton. Until next time, keep your ears open. You just might be hearing the next Talk of the Town. This episode is brought to you by J. Geiger Consulting, a consulting firm specializing in J.D. Edwards Solutions and proud sponsor of Appleton Downtown Incorporated. Special thanks to local songwriter Amelia Ford for creating original music just for this podcast.